Hello everybody, welcome to my channel, Memory Keeping with Megan. For today's video, I would like to do a 4th of July layout. And while I was thinking about this whole process, I knew that I had a 4th of July stamp, or I really believed that I had some type of 4th of July stamp. Now, if you have watched any of my videos, you know that I have been away from paper crafting for a number of years. As a matter of fact, before this past fall, the last time I had sat down and done any type of paper crafting / scrapbooking was in 2013, and I only did it for the sole purpose during 1 month to complete, start to end, an Eagle Scout album for my son when we were going to have his Eagle Scout ceremony. And prior to 2013, I believe it was 2006 was the last time prior to that I had done any type of paper crafting. So during the pandemic of 2020, my husband built me some things around here in my office to try and help me get organized, because I really did want to get back into the paper crafting. I didn't at the time, but he put a lot of work into this, so I want you guys just to take a look-see to everything that he did and all the stamps and everything that I have from that time period. Okay, and then down here at the bottom, down here, this is other stamps I've additionally purchased. So anyway, looking for those 4th of July stamps. One night I was in here and I'm like, I'm going to come over here because I just know that I've got 4th of July stamps. And sure enough, now those of you that are familiar with Close to My Heart, you know how old these stamps are. And brand new, never taken out of the box. So I decided then that along with this video process that I would do some stash busting and dig further into the vault of my supplies and see what else I could come up with and use to create at least a 2-page layout. Okay, so here's a little bit of what I have brought out from the vault. There is a close-up there of the Close to My Heart stamp set. I am going to use that today, I know. I may or may not use some of this other stuff that I have found. And let me get the papers that I found pulled over here. These are the 4th of July themed papers that I pulled out from my stash. I did find about 3 different kits as well, but I'm not going to work on any kits. I just want to use these papers in order to design my layout for this video. I'm using a Fisker's personal trimmer. I do like to use personal trimmers whenever I am trimming up my pictures, but I'm really not convinced that this is the right trimmer for me. So I would appreciate if you guys could give me some feedback in the comments below. Let me know if you use a personal trimmer. What one do you use and what do you like about it? A few months ago, I purchased an Epson PM400 so that I could print pictures off here at the house, and I really do love the convenience of that. I'm still learning about printing pictures with a border, without a border, and working on sizing the pictures up for my different layouts. Picking out papers for this layout was a pretty easy process this time. First I went through and looked at the papers, and I eliminated what I felt like were papers that were too busy with designs or things that I didn't feel like I could really calm down enough with some solid colors. And then I looked at what was in my pictures, and I wanted to choose colors that would make my pictures pop. But then also I wanted to have the colors that showed the reason for the season, the 4th of July. My inspiration for this layout comes from a challenge that was presented by Erin of Crafty Concepts with Erin. These pictures are from our July 4th celebration in 2004, and going through these pictures has really brought back a ton of memories and a lot of good times. It really just seems like it was yesterday that these pictures were taken. While digging through my stash, I came across this vellum paper that has all these different sentiments on here that I could use for a title. I did go ahead and bring in another blue over on this right side, and then when I laid the vellum down, it was perfect because it just seemed like each line of the title there had a different color underneath it. I am happy with how things look, so I'm going to go ahead and get things adhered down. What kind of things do you guys do to celebrate the 4th of July? Does your town have a big parade, or do you have like neighborhood parades? I live in a university town. Our population's about 21,000, and we don't have a citywide parade. We do have multiple neighborhood parades. You see here that I am using my very old, close to my heart firecracker stamp. And while that ink is drying, I'm going to go ahead and adhere down the pictures that my husband took of the citywide fireworks display. Also get some of these other pictures adhered down of my boys, and then a picture of my brother teaching my boys about lighting up the fireworks. And then there's my parents and my youngest son eating watermelon. That was one of our favorite things to do. One of our favorite little treats was to have watermelon on the 4th of July. So as I continue to work through the picture placement process, what pictures I want where, and also the embellishments where I want to put things, that little chain on that tag was annoying me, so I went ahead and took that off. I'll share with you some more memories and stuff about the 4th of July. I remember that I would start putting money back probably around spring break. I'd put it back in an envelope, and I would start saving up some money that I could give to the boys to use at the fireworks stand. That was just a little trick that I learned from my mom. When I was growing up, she had all sorts of different envelopes filled with some money for all sorts of different little things for us to be able to do or be able to have. I was talking with my oldest son the other day about some of his 4th of July memories, and a couple of the things that he mentioned was, remember the little snakes, little black disc-looking things, and then you would light them on fire, and then they would have like a little snake coming out. He really liked those. And then also, he talked about when his Oma, which was my mother-in-law, when she would come over with the big boxes of the fireworks, and each boy got their own box that they were able to shoot out. I'm going to go ahead and color in my little firecrackers over there with the Colorista colored pencils. I thought about using the tri-blend pens, but I wanted to go ahead and just use these colored pencils for now. Some other things that we like to do on the 4th of July is go to the arts and crafts show that is held at one of our local parks. You want to get there early in the morning because here in Kansas, the humidity can get to you really quickly as the day goes on. Then we just walk across the street and we go through the little antique car show. Then we would hop back into our car and drive across town and go over and watch the remote control airplanes put on a show. All of these things plus a little bit more is, still activities that our city still sponsors and holds every year. Some things that they've added is like pickleball, disc golf, and cornhole, and a 5K run, which you will never see me participate in that. I like to joke around and say that if you ever see me running, then you should run too. Some other memories that come up in looking at these pictures is that my mother-in-law, the boys called her Oma, but my mother-in-law worked over at a family restaurant, and one of her customers sold fireworks, and every year for a number of years she would buy each boy a big box of fireworks, and just it was like a variety pack, and so she would bring that over and they would be able to shoot that off. And also my brother would take the boys and to the local fireworks tents, and they would buy even more fireworks and then come back and shoot those all off together. You know, I spent all the time coloring those little wands because I thought they were so cute, but I really just cannot find a place on this layout to put them together, even in clusters or whatever, that they would look right. So I'm pulling out some other embellishments and trying to decide what I want and where I want to put all the embellishments. I don't want to get things too terribly full, but I don't want things to look too terribly empty either. Trying to find that balance sometimes can prove to be difficult. That little boy up there, that embellishment up there at the top on the left, reminds me of my youngest son there for some reason. And speaking of my youngest son, there on the right, he has his fingers, he was eating watermelon, and so he's got his fingers up there in his mouth, putting the watermelon in his mouth. And I noticed that he has a little dollar bill ring on, and that is something that my dad would do all the time, is that he would make different things out of dollar bills or $5 bills or whatever. He would make rings or bow ties or shirts and swans and all sorts of different stuff, and he would leave that stuff for tips for the waitresses and everything. And I still have some of those dollar bill rings in my jewelry box. And speaking of watermelon, I remembered that I had some paper that looked like watermelon rind and the watermelon seeds, so I made that little embellishment down there to stick down there in the corner. And I ended up deciding over here on the right that I really didn't need to put anything there in the middle. I'm going to put a journaling spot there. I had to get that little spatula tool there to help me get the layout off of the Versamat. I got it stuck down there too good. But I really do like how this layout turned out. I was able to use a lot of stuff from my stash that I've been collecting for a very long time. Thank you all so much for watching my video. If you liked what you saw, please be sure to give me a thumbs up, a like, and please subscribe and share with your friends if you haven't already done so. And until next time.